Hello, this is Malorian, and this is going to be another battle report. But this one's going to be kind of interesting because what it is this long weekend. Well, in Canada, it was a long weekend. You guys off in the States or whatever probably don't have Victoria Day. We do. So there you go. The whole family decided to go out camping. I also went out with my brother Borgnine, and while we were out there, we thought, hey, this might be a fun time to go do the next game of our slow grow. So for those, just to catch you up to speed, I kind of started up a high elf army. I'm slowly building it and painting it. And the idea was that me and Borgnine were going to slowly do that together. Me with high elves, him with the Wars of Chaos. And in the end, with 150 points more painted every month, hey, at the end of the whole thing, we'll both have another fully painted army. Now, the problem is from past games, Borgnine has been starting to hate fantasy. He hates the fact that I just 6 dice fireball, take off his expensive warriors, and by the time we get across the board, there's nothing left. He's really starting to hate that idea. And so to try and save it and change it, he's actually going to be kind of leaving his side of it. So he's now, Borgnine, going to be doing Skaven. He's already had his Skaven, it's already painted, but at least, hey, he's still playing against me, and that's the main thing. So in this game as well, to try and give him more options, we're jumping up to 1,000 points. Now again, 1,000 points isn't much, but in a slow grow it kind of is, and we're starting to get up there for how much stuff is painted. Now, I still am trying to catch up, especially since in the new book, all my stuff is cheaper, but I'm doing my best to try and rush up there. For my side, what I'm running is a mage, just a level 1, no gear. Then I have 10 archers, I have 25 spearmen with a banner, and that's really it for my core. Oh, sorry, no, I also have 18 sea guard, also with a banner. So some shooting in there. Then I have 2 units of 7 swordmasters, just for flanks and cutting stuff up. And then I have my 10 sisters of Avalorn. And I love the Sisters of Avalorn. This idea of them, their shots are so great. And then I also have an eagle as well. But just to kind of rant right now here, I also kind of hate the Sisters of Avalorn. And why that is, it seems like GW designed them to break. And yeah, I mean, just the way they're set up, where they have these long, thin bows, with especially with the arrows or things are thin, right? There's little flame arrows sticking out, and they're so awkwardly out from the unit as well, that not only are they hard to rank up in a unit, they're also probably going to get caught in your bag and bent, and so like, I put together the unit, and I already know they're going to be all busted. But either way, I'm excited to use them. On Borgnine's side, he is going to be running Skaven, like I said. He's running a Warlord that's going to have the Enchanted Shield, a BSB that has a Halberd and probably some sort of armor, and then also a Warplock, you know, what is it, the Engineer guy that has a Doom Rocket, and I don't know if he has anything else too. He's just a level 1 guy shooting off lightning and rockets and stuff. Past that, it's pretty simple. He has 2 units of slaves, both around 50 models. He has a big unit, a horde of 40 of the storm vermin, so that's scary. And then he has a doom wheel, and he also has a warp lightning cannon. So kind of a condensed army, but lots of numbers. Obviously, if I hit him with a bunch of fireballs, he's just losing a little rats. It doesn't really matter. Now, of course, this gets worse because now that I'm doing high elf magic with the new stuff, I get 46 shots. So that was going to be interesting, but man, this is Camphammer, and we'll have to see what happens. So there you go. Alright, so here's the picture of the board, and basically what we did is we went to this one area that was kind of pounded down for you to move on your, your trailer, your truck, or whatever, and just put down some sticks for the area, and off you go. And the way we did terrain is we just rolled off. One person would put down a piece of terrain, the other person would, and go back and forth until somebody said they're done. So we ended up with some terrain on here. The 2 bunches of leaves are going to be forest, mysterious forest. Then the stick between them is going to be a wall. On the back right, you can kind of see my sea guard on a clump of crap, and that's actually some dried twigs and stuff, so that's going to be a hill. On the far left, the lantern is going to be a wizard's tower, which is probably pretty crazy, especially since what it would give you in a game like this. But in the end, we decided not to use it anyway. And then the boots, the old woman that lived in the shoe, yeah, that's going to be a house. So, it's just, we're in camp land, just throwing down whatever you have. Now, the game we rolled off was actually Blood and Glory. So this could be over quick if somebody managed to kill a general or something, but he has himself in a pretty good situation because his BSB in general is in the Storm Vermin, which is inside the house. And of course, that gives me almost no chance to try and wipe them out. Outside he has his slaves, the Doom Wheel, and the Lightning Cannon. And you can see how I'm set up across at the bottom here. More defensive, ready to accept him and try and get him on the flanks with these Sword Masters. And then if he ever comes out, trying to take him on with the Sea Guard to either, the Sea Guard are there to either flank the slaves as they come in, or if he comes out of the house, charge it and try and kill his general or something and win the game that way. Overall, the biggest thing I'm worried about in this game is the Doom Wheel, because that thing, if it hits into me, I'm going to be crushed. It can be zapping my guys. It's just bad news. The slaves are also dangerous because I'm small, elite. Once I go into them and they explode, I'm losing all these guys. That's going to be bad. So the main thing I want to do in this game is that, because I probably can't win because he's just going to hide in the building, is the Eagle's going to go after the cannon, knock that thing out. I'm going to tag team that Doom Wheel best I can, and when the slaves come in, just try and overwhelm them, beat them, and then from ahead by points, hey, I win the game. But we'll see what happens. And here's a close-up of his army. He likes this. It's all painted. He's using the Nobblers for his slaves. And, for him, it's just going back to what he's comfortable with and what he likes. So that's always good to see. And, hey, it's always good to have fully painted models down. And then on my side, of course, I'm not fully painted yet. I'm working towards it. At this point, I was only supposed to be at 500 points done. I'm about 550 right now. So, hey, I'm at the right spot. But, I'm still liking the army. I just wish the Sisters of Avalorn weren't designed to be destroyed. Because look at those little bows. Look at the little arrows coming out. Those are going to break for sure. Alright, so I get first turn. One of the best things I do is I shoot the Doom Wheel, get a 6, and do a wound. And that's fantastic. Now, what happens if you ever do a wound to the Doom Wheel is it has to do a test. And if it fails, it's like a misfire. Well, it failed its test, but the misfire was the best thing possible. And it's actually faster now. Now it's random movement 4d6. So not exactly the best thing that could have happened. Otherwise, my lines look like this after my turn. My level 1 has joined my spears, because the big thing that's the difference between the fireball compared to the soul quince or whatever the one's called now is that it's only 18 inches. So you really have to make sure to move up. He was able to shut down my magic though. You can see the eagle's over there in a perfect spot to go after him. And if he shoots me, he's going to be zapping his own guys in the building probably. And otherwise, yeah, just trying to shoot him up and get ready to counter. On his turn, he comes after my spearman, and he almost gets it. He rolls really high, almost gets there, but then what he tries to do is he tries to doom rocket my spearman. And of course, if I get touched by that, I'm just going to die in droves. Well, luckily what happened is that he rolled poorly, only hit his Doom Wheel, and did another wound to his Doom Wheel. So, kind of funny Skaven stuff going on, but that's what happens sometimes. So, end of his turn, it looks like this. His lightning cannon thing did very little. I think it ended up killing one of my Sisters of Avalorn, so that's not bad whatsoever. And then, yeah, his slaves moved up slightly, but nothing too serious. My turn too, just like I planned, I gotta take out this Doom Wheel, so the spearmen go in, the swordsmen go in from either side, and yeah, this thing should be dead, but hopefully I just don't take too many losses going back. And my eagle goes into the warp lightning cannon, and yeah, that thing should be toast. And the turn then, it looks like this. Eagle is now off the board. That was probably a mistake. I probably should just, let the one last guy run off the board, but whatever, I did it. As you can see, the Doom Wheel is destroyed, and I'm all reformed here. And I like the way it worked out, because actually now my Sword Masters are protecting my spearmen with the level 1 in it. So that's fantastic. Also, the one unit is angled so that once he comes to fight the Sword Masters, he'll be showing the flank to the Sea Guard. So it's all looking fantastic. Other shooting had killed off a few slaves as well, so there you go. His turn too, and his slaves then go and charge into my Sword Masters. I'm not really worried that I'm going to lose this. I'm just worried about being ground down because in the end, each of his units are 100 points. Mine's 91. And yeah, I mean, the way it works out with the math is I'm going to die before he does. So hopefully I get lucky. And the other thing that was surprising, well, I guess maybe not, but out comes his storm vermin. So now, of course, I can shoot them. I can try and go after the general or whatever, but he is the guy farthest on the left. So it's not like I could put that many attacks on him. But hey, that's a possibility. And yeah, I mean, it's better than them just hiding in the boot all the game. End of his turn then, it looks like this. I was able to kill his level 1 in the left unit, so that's great. He'd actually tried to do some magic on his previous 2 turns, but just got nothing through. And yeah, he didn't even kill anyone from the right unit. I got pretty lucky there making my armor save. So looking pretty good for the high elves at this point. My turn 3, and I have some counter charges here. Now, I had to make up my mind here, because really what I could have done is the Sea Guard could have gone into the flank of the slaves there, really mess them up, hopefully make them break or something. But chances are actually that I wouldn't kill enough. They'd be steadfast, then his storm vermin would flank my sea guard, and bad things would just ensue. So what I decided to do instead is send in the sisters into the flank because, hey, they have high weapon skill, he has no armor and is low toughness, so they can actually do very well on the flank. And then I sent in the Sea Guard into his Storm Vermin because if nothing else, maybe I can kill a few. And if I kill his general, I just kind of win. So that's kind of good news. So end of the turn, it looks like this. Yeah, again, not so hot. The Eagle comes back on. My Sword Masters are starting to really dwindle on the left side. Beat him on the right side, but he's stubborn, like Leadership 9 or 10 re-rolled, so he's not going anywhere. The big thing is on the right side. My Sea Guard there didn't really stand a chance. I really did not think that out too well because I'm not getting the re-rolls to hit against him. And then with him having his enchanted shield and a 3+ armor, I wasn't really going to kill him anyway. I probably should have focused on the BSB and killing him instead. But either way, I broke. He tried to go after me and really rolled very low. You can see how that is. So I got away. My banner's destroyed. But in the end, I don't really care because I'm alive with blood and glory till my level 1 dies anyway. His turn 3 then, and really what this one comes down to is the Storm Vermin just reforming to turn around. In the left combat, wow, he really goes to town and kills up my Sword Masters. So luckily I killed a lot of him too, but I lost by, I can't remember how much, and held, so that's nice. But yeah, obviously you can see there where you get ground down. I'm still beating him up there in the other combat, but just not fast enough, right? I need these guys to be gone so I can be dealing with these Storm Vermin, but it's just not possible. My turn 4 then, and I just really need these combats to be over. So everything's charging in. I have the archers into the flank of the slaves on the left, and I'm also hitting the front with the spearmen, so that should be enough to destroy them. And then I also need this other unit gone. So the eagle's in there, and man, I mean, I know I won't be able to take away steadfast, but hopefully I can kill enough ranks off so that he's not having that high of a leadership. And my turn then, it looks like this. The Sea Guard had rallied, left unit destroyed and exploded, took that one last swordsman with them, and then the other unit, yeah, just was not able to kill enough. If I had, I could have been doing some double fleas and finally shooting up those storm vermin, but as it is, they're just going to charge in there and do a ton of damage. So on his turn, he charges into the flank, and at the time I actually thought, like, you know what? Maybe this isn't so bad, because there's only so much wounds he can do on that frontage, and I can kill a lot of slaves. So this could actually work out okay for me. And so in the end, I did win combat. The slaves exploded. They killed the eagle like that and killed some more of the swordsmen. And then what I did is I just turned over the sisters so that they could try and, you know, put some wounds on this warlord or something. In the end, thinking back, maybe I shouldn't have done that. I should have kept them more narrow to leave room for other stuff, but that's what I did. So my turn 5 now, and it's freaking go time. So the spearmen are in there, the 2 swordsmen, the sisters were already there, Sea Guard into the flank, and I just gotta hope that I do enough wounds there, take away steadfast, and that they break. But you know what? That's a lot of strength 4 attacks, and toughness 3 with very little armor does not like strength 4 attacks. And at the end, it looks like this. So yeah, I killed some, but he killed a lot of my guys too. I lost, and everything broke except for the steadfast spearmen. So that's good to let the other guys get away. But yeah, that was pretty much my one best chance to break them, and it did not happen. His turn then, and I decide that because I'm kind of have no chance of destroying him now, I might as well try and go for the mission and kill his general. So I put all my attacks onto his general because he was a little bit sloppy with his reform here, and put his chieftain right in the middle of my guys. So I could have a lot of guys to attack him. In the end, I was able to do 2 wounds to him, so almost finished him off. But he's still there, and my my spearman broke, and luckily again, he just was not able to catch me. So in my last turn, I charge in the archers, just hoping to do that last wound. But my archers were completely destroyed, so that's 100 points for him. And what I did here is, it looks really retarded, but I moved up my mage up here so that he could actually charge her. Seems stupid, but there was a reason. So the reason I did that is so that when he charged in, I could, he's probably going to move over his chieftain to fight me, and I could just hopefully do that last wound and be that last chance to win by mission. But he realized what was going on and said well, yeah, I can just challenge with my BSB. But in the end, he decided, hey, it's a fun game. So he actually did challenge with the chieftain, and I accepted it. And I like the little picture here, too, where I actually didn't face my person the right way. So it actually looks like I'm admiring his sword. Like, oh, nice sword, nice craftsmanship. Oh. In the end, though, it was a complete fail fest. I rolled a 1 to wound, did not get a reroll because of the initiative. He hit everything, but then rolled 3 1s to wound. So yeah, I guess we really were just looking at the sword and negotiating prices. And at the end of the day, of course, I lose combat by a whole bunch. I break, but again, I get away. So this is pretty massive because, again, it's just more points saved. So when the game ended, I thought I was kind of screwed, whatever. That's why I was going desperate. But at the end there, then we kind of realized that, well, wait a second. I have a lot of points on the board. It's all just fleeing, but it's there. And so when you add it all up, it actually was a victory for the High Elves. So hooray for the High Elves, a big win in the campaign. It's now 2 to 0 to 1. There's the 1 tie for the first game. But again, this was something where my brother Borgnine was like, this is another thing he doesn't like about fantasy, because before, if things were fleeing, they were destroyed, or if you destroyed half the unit, you got half the points. And, we kind of had this back and forth of why is this still in the game? And really the reasoning for it is probably just the whole idea where they got rid of unit strength, they wanted the math to be easy, and probably another part of this too, the reason why they want these last turn fleas to go on is just another little thing where they're trying to shut down these Death Stars, where, okay, I can slow you down for the whole game, and then flee again at the last turn, and you didn't earn any points. So that's the reasoning, but of course, in situations like this, where he has a massive horde in the middle of my lines, everything's fleeing all over the place and is like half dead, it's frustrating. It's like, oh, well, you won? All right, whatever. It's just the way it goes, and I can understand the frustration, but hooray, High Elves. So there you have it. Thanks for watching, and there'll be more games coming up. So stay tuned. Bye.